Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. This is like my very first live. I'm literally trying to connect my phone to my tripod. I hope you can see this. Okay, how do I turn this around? Okay, give a girl 2 seconds. Let's do this. Okay. How do we... Connection problem, attempting to reconnect. Okay, let's get started. So my name is Nakalo, for those who may not. So this is a character that I've been working on designing and I'm kind of excited for her. I think she's pretty cute, but that's not the point of this whole live. So my friends recently introduced me to anime, and by anime I mean Gabo Naruto. Really, I was really into Dragon Balls from the beginning. I'm sorry, drawing and talking at the same time, I'm pretty distracted. But they introduced me to Naruto whilst I have always been a heavy fan of Dragon Balls. You can't, you couldn't touch me on it. Yesterday, today I finished watching. What is it? Oh yes, Avengers: The Last Airbender. I finished watching the first season, and child, what is that? I literally had goosebumps, and for the first time in my life, I thought to myself, "Good table, is there a cartoon that's actually better than Dragon Balls?" And I must say, ooh, Airbender comes pretty close. And I don't mean like cartoon. I mean Airbender, lost the fact, the lost Abe, Avatar, the last Airbender. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted, and I'm a bit nervous. Is obviously not a complete anime. It's more of a cartoon that's inspired by anime, and I guess you could say a bit of Asian culture, mostly Chinese, simply by the name of that Princess Yue, which essentially means moon in Chinese. And yeah, no, I can obviously differentiate between the two. But I literally had goosebumps when the Avatar was first introduced to me, which was on Netflix. A lot of people were talking about it. They were like, "Oh my god, this is such an amazing cartoon!" But I didn't really give it much thought because you know how people are. They tend to overhype things sometimes. So that's what I was thinking as well. I was like, nah, this is probably just some hype that they're giving this cartoon. When I finally did give it a chance, I was like, what do you mean this cartoon was made in 2005? What do you mean? It makes no sense. How can it be so good and so old? Cheese and rice. Yo, you could just really tell that the old cartoons are the goats. Like, you can even tell this from old Cartoon Network cartoons. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Evil Kong Ed and Eddie. The list goes on and on and on. So clearly, because my expectations for the thing were quite low, because I was just like, this thing is overhyped. I was shook. I'm still shook. I literally had goosebumps. I cannot wait to start season 3. But like I said before in the beginning, I'm obviously an adamant fan of Dragon Balls. Love the cartoon. And when that light bulb moment clicked, when Aang became that fish monster thing, the koi fish monster, fighting off the Fire Nation, I literally sat with myself, and Yue turned into that moon spirit being. I sat down with myself and I was like, is it possible that this cartoon is actually better than Dragon Balls? I know, right? Mind-boggling. But I mean, let's talk about Dragon Balls for a second. Dragon Ball Z the Frieza series and the Cell series and were probably the best, top tier, cannot be touched. The Boo series, I haven't really, I didn't quite enjoy it. Let me just say that the episodes that I did watch, I was like, I mean, it's pretty cool and everything, but I mean, the Cell series, I mean, let's talk about Gohan. He was like a badass, but are you allowed to swear on a live? Vibes. But yeah, no, it was impeccable. Cannot fault it. It was amazing. Great character development on that Cell series. Like, it cannot be faulted. Still one of the best things I've ever watched in my life. Still gives me goosebumps, especially when Gohan first transformed into a Super Saiyan in the time chamber. Wow, let's talk about that as well. I feel like we're going to be talking about a lot of things here right now, and my battery is low because I'm recording with my phone because I decided not to charge it. Bad decisions were made. But anyway, so during that season of Dragonballs, that was its peak. And then at some point, they just stopped developing the characters. Well, I feel like they stopped developing the characters. And so right now, it seems as if it's all about the transformations. And for me, the transformations, honestly, are just about the change in color, I guess, and the shine and shininess, if that makes sense. But the only great character development that's truly been happening is the one that involves Vegeta, because he shows the greatest character developments throughout the whole series. And well, besides Piccolo, who was like evil at some point, but you know, Vegeta, oh my god, he is amazing. He is bae. But with Goku, on the other hand, he seems to be this mindless airhead who just wants to find the next greatest fighter who's potentially stronger than him. I mean, dude doesn't even want to work for his family, and they're not even rich. I mean, come on, bruv. Like, your priorities, set them straight. I mean, sure, it's funny the first few times, but at some point it just becomes a bit old. Well, for me, it felt a bit old. But the joke whereby it was Mai and Trunks, and I think Trunks was going on my mouth to mouth, and he asked, what are they doing? And Vegeta was like, yo, bruv, you've got 2 kids. What do you mean you don't know what kissing is? So that within itself, that was the funniest part of Dragon Balls, I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, if we're gonna talk about other things, I wasn't quite the fan of it eventually. I'm not sure why, but the reasons that I've mentioned, whereby Goku is just an airhead, Gohan stopped training, who was the most badass character, followed by Future Trunks, and then he just stopped training and became this nerd. And kudos to him for wanting to be a family man. I mean, it's vibes, but dude, come on. You had like the greatest potential out of everyone here, and all of a sudden, I haven't watched the superhero movie. Apparently, it's pretty awesome. But I didn't like the fact, I mean, I guess it was cool, but for me, dude suddenly was able to tap into his beast mode after training secretly or something along those lines. I mean, come on, we want to see his character development as well. We want to see him train if he's wherever he's training. So it was all that made it a bit wonky for me, that made it a bit hard to understand, and just made me not really enjoy it too much. And of course, let's get on to their transformations. Transformations were great. The first 4 times, and I say the first 4 times because we all remember when Goku turned into a Super Saiyan for the first time. That was a legendary moment. Like, everyone remembers where they were. They know the time. That fight was legendary. And then when what's this? Oh yeah, when Gohan turned into a Super Saiyan. When they turned into Super Saiyan 3 with the long hair, no eyebrows type of vibe. And when they turned into Super Saiyan 4, which happened I'm assuming in Dragon Balls GT, where, you know, they're hairy, they've still got their monkeyness, I guess you can say that. That was a hot design, and I wish that they'd actually stuck to that design instead of just simply changing the hair color and I guess making them still look the same, but claiming that this transformation has more powers over this because this one channels more energy or something along those lines. The GT transformation is simply the best one. And honestly, if the GT transformation was said to be the God transformation, I would have been like, yep, that's it. That's it right there. What are we doing now? Like, how? But clearly it wasn't. And of course, there were reasons as to why they stopped transforming into that one, because apparently it channeled more energy or something like that. I mean, cool vibes, I guess, because it was more detailed than the other transformations. So I'm sure the animators as well just didn't want to keep recreating this somewhat complex character design of that particular animation. But I like I said, I do wish that it had stayed longer, instead of just these golden hair, blonde hair, whatever, blue-eyed characters or Super Saiyans, which I mean, vibes, different strokes, I guess, but you kind of get over it at some point. But let's not get in there. And then there was also a point where I guess they transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, but before that, of course, Super Saiyan God. And I'm mad at the fact that Super Saiyan God was not utilized optimally. Come on. I mean, the build-up, the training that was done. Come on, fighting Beerus, the God of Destruction. Dude turns into Super Saiyan God, and that power is just not tapped into, not utilized, or we don't see much of it. Or maybe is it because they're gonna jump some timelines as they normally do, whereby an event happens in the future, this one happened in the past, and you know, it's just a mix and match thing. Is that what they're planning to do with Dragon Ball? I mean, Super Saiyan God. I don't know, man. But after that, they introduced Super Saiyan Blue, and I mean, Super Saiyan Blue is pretty cool as well. But I feel like Super Saiyan Blue should have come before God, because even the name, bruv, Super Saiyan God, kind of says something, like it shows a bit of somewhat power. But I'm not really sure as to why they have chosen not to show us Vegeta and Goku utilizing their godlike abilities or that Super Saiyan form to its fullest. But I'm sure they may have their reasons. Maybe in the future they might, who knows. But I'm just kind of now waiting for when Vegeta truly taps into his ultra instinct, ultra ego. Yes, when he becomes the God of Destruction, if that ever happens. I've only read up about it since from the last time I checked, it hasn't really happened as of yet. But that's the only thing that excites me at the moment. Goku always wins anyway, so he will tap into, I'm sure, another form after Ultra Instinct and become maybe an angel. I mean, I'd be shocked if he became the God of Destruction. But this is simply just from vlogs, not vlogs. God, I've been watching too much YouTube. From blogs that I've been reading. But that's just my 2 cents on the whole Dragon Ball Z series and its entirety, and how I feel about